I've got a chance to talk to a young man from Australia, and I'm just going to say it this way. I don't think there's a hotter guy on the planet right now than Damian Brennan. He just won Rodeo Houston, $56,000 unofficially by my math. That might be a little bit low. Damian, congratulations on your big win in Houston.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve.
Um, I said hotter guy on the planet right now. Some people are going to argue Shad Mayfield. You're the number one money winner in all of pro rodeo right now. You've won $106,000 for the year. I don't know if you paid attention to that or not, but wow, the last 6 months have been pretty good.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Yeah, like you said there before, I've had a really good NFR and then had a cracking winner, so cannot be complaining, that's for sure.
$166,000 at the NFR, two go-round wins, if I remember right.
Yep.
And so far, since October 1st, since the new rodeo season started, $106,000, including that $50,000 out of Houston, which my math ain't real good, but that's over $270,000 in 6 months. Damian, is there a point where a switch flipped, where something happened, and you've been able to grab this gear that you've been on right now? Have you thought about it in those terms at all?
Yeah, I feel like it really started switching over for me at probably Calgary last year. I think I had not even $30,000 one going into Calgary, and then I made the four-man there at Calgary, and then I just had a really good summer last year and snuck, got into the NFR, and then it just hasn't stopped from then pretty well since Calgary, and then I've just had a good finals and then kept it rolling over into this winter.
Let's talk about Houston. On Sunday afternoon, you made a 90-point ride on Wild Cherry and then came back and made a 91-point ride in the championship round on the Surveys R. Watson's Ed Bishop. Tell me if I'm right or wrong in what I'm about to say, and then I'm going to ask you to talk about both of those rides. Those are two completely different horses. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, I think so. Wild Cherry's pretty. How do you explain her? It's happening. Like it's Ed Bishop. There's a lot more timing with Ed Bishop, whereas Wild Cherry's she's getting it. A bit
Wild
harder to ride.
can live up to her name if you're not, especially in the bucking shoots. I don't know if she can have some times when she's a little tough to get out on. How was she on Sunday?
She was good. She was really good. I kind of just snuck around her and got everyone to stay away from her head because if you get around her head, she'll try and mash you in the chute. And Cody DeMoss was actually right there, and I just kind of sat there and got her to stand up. Didn't pick up on my rein, and she left pretty good for me.
Yeah. And then Ed Bishop is, as you mentioned, it's a lot more of a timing kind of a horse. Tell me about the ride that won you that $50,000 at Rodeo Houston.
Yep. I just tried to get a good solid spur out because you can't, there's a mark out rule there, so you got to make sure you get them spurred out. And just pick the timing up straight away and coming across there, it felt great going across there. That horse gives you all the timing in the world, and once the 8 seconds went, I knew it was going to be good, but you're still never quite sure. And once I got off and heard the score, I was very pumped.
Can I ask you Steve's dumb question in the interview right now? You mentioned there's a mark out rule in Houston. There are a few rodeos where they tinker with the mark out rule. Does that have any impact at all on what you guys do, or do you just have to, say to yourself, okay, I'm going to mark this horse out no matter what? How does that affect you, or does it at all?
No, it doesn't affect me one bit. Every single horse I get on, I try and put a two jump spur out on, whether there's a mark out rule or not. That it helps us. It sets our bronc ride up really. If you get a good spur out, it sets you right up, and if you don't get a good spur out, you're kind of catching up the whole time. So yeah, no matter whether there's a spur out rule or not, I'm going to spur my horse out every time.
The toughest moment for you in Houston, just to remind everybody, in Damian's Super Series, he won 2 out of 3 performances, got out of there with $6,000, moved on to the next round. Semifinal number 2, you were 4th and snuck by Lefty Holman by a half point. You were 87.5. Lefty was 87. Was that the toughest moment for you to advance of your time in Houston?
Yeah, probably. I think it was a bit nerve wracking watching everyone else go, and there's some world class bronc riders like Lefty and Cress were behind me, and obviously you just want them boys to do good too. But yeah, I had to sweat that one out for a little bit.
Damian, I'm one of the biggest Lefty Holman fans in the country. So in your semifinal, you're 87.5, Lefty's 87. Lefty turns around, wins his wild card round, gets into the 10-man, makes it into the 4-man, and you beat him again in the 4 round. Did you guys jab at each other a little bit about that or have any fun with that? Or did you even notice that?
Yeah, Lefty's like, you got to quit beating me, but he rides so good, then, boys. It's a bit of the luck of the draw sometimes, and I'm sure he'll get me back.
Yeah, and Lefty made a sensational run. That was a tough 4-round. Horses of the year, and you had to beat 89 to win the whole thing. That was a tough 4-round.
Yeah, it always is there. Got some of the best bucking horses in the world and the best bronc riders in the world. Everything's got to go your way to get the win, that's for sure.
Yeah, Sage Newman was 88. He finished 4th.
Yeah, incredible.
That 4-round was. Damian, how are you feeling? How's your body holding up? Is everything good right now?
Yep. No, I feel $1 million. Don't have a sore bone in my body right now, so I'm ready to keep the ball rolling.
So you are winning the rodeo in Austin as well. You were 87.5 there on a horse called Golden Glow that puts you in the #1 spot right now in Austin, Texas. What is your schedule coming up? I know that you'll be headed back to Austin this weekend. What's your schedule coming up? Are you just going to keep the foot on the gas?
Yep, it's going to be a little bit slower, but yeah, we'll go back to Austin to the semis and hopefully the short round, and then roll into like Redmond, San Angelo, and then I suppose we'll head out and do the California run, Red Bluff and Clovis and stuff like that.
$20,000 with a 91.5 on All or Nothing in Fort Worth in the championship round. Winning Austin, just won Houston. This is the stuff dreams are made of, Damian, and in the business to get off to this kind of a start, man. If you can tag Austin on top of what you've already done in Fort Worth and Houston. Yeah,
no, it's been pretty incredible. I think every horse I've nodded my head on this year, I've won a check. So I'm just very grateful. That's for sure. It's not always going to go like that, but I've had a cracking start.
I got to ask you about your college rodeo coach, Greg Rhodes. I know he pays really close attention to you guys from Western Texas College. Have you gotten a couple of happy phone calls from him? What's he told you?
Yeah, no, Greg, he's great. He always sends me a few texts here and there, and he said, well, another saddle to add to the collection, and he darn sure thinks I'm going to get the world title one too. So it's good. I think he might be a bit biased, but no, he thinks I'm going to get it done.
Well, Greg's a great guy and a great coach. And somebody, I think you told me, you and I've talked about this at least once before, you told me you learned a lot from him.
Yep. No, Greg was a big part of my bronc riding and, getting started over here. He recruited me to go to Snyder, and I think, just the mindset and the way to go about rodeo, Greg was a big part of, and learning to get it into your system. And all Greg would say is 23, 24, 23, 24s. And you talk it enough, and if you talk it enough and say it enough, it's going to happen. So that was what Greg was really big on.
Was he talking about the score you want to get on your spur ride every time when he said that?
Yes. Sorry. Yep. 23, 24 point spur rides. That's all you thought about.
Yeah. Well, so far so good. Whatever it is you're doing, it seems to be working. Congratulations on Rodeo Houston, Damian, and continued success on everything that you do. I really appreciate your time. And I just want everybody to understand these guys don't have to say yes to me when I reach out to them. And so many rodeo contestants just give those few extra minutes. And Damian, I want you to know, and all the men and women that I have the pleasure of interviewing, how much it means to me that you give me a few minutes of your time. Thank you. Continued success. Keep winning.
Yep. No, thanks very much, Steve. Thanks for getting me on here.
I appreciate it. Damian Brennan, the newly crowned saddle bronc riding champion, and right now the #1 money winner in all of pro rodeo after his win in the saddle bronc riding at Rodeo Houston.